And it was a surprise to me when I was named bishop, because I never had it in my wildest dreams that I'd be a bishop. I never had any advanced studies or wasn't bilingual, but I was always in the trenches, always a pastor. I had missionary experiences in Peru. Bishop Burke or someone saw interest in me, and they saw I was a person that could get the job done when it had to be done. So I guess they must have put my name forward to be a bishop. To be a missionary today, I think first one must have a deep love for the people that he's going to serve, because it's about service. It's about service of God's people. And if we are faithful to the gospel, Jesus always had a special love for the little ones, for the poor, the outcast, the elderly. And I think a missionary must try to always manifest that love for them. The Archdiocese of St. John's has a large history. The first ever made a perfectorate back in 1784. And there was a bishop in St. John's, believe it or not, in 1796, before many parts of Canada were even explored. And the Catholic population of Newfoundland, basically, or of St. John's area especially, is very heavily Irish. Many times these fishermen came out as seasonal fishermen, and when the year was over, they'd be taken back, That was sort of the tradition then. Then gradually some began to settle there, become permanent residents. And the city of St. John's today is only a city of around 100,000. The Archdiocese would have total, maybe with 35 to 40% of the population of that area of province. I'd have about 110,000 Roman Catholics. Where one time we had like 4 priests, 4 parishes, now we have 1. Now we have a priest looking after 7 and 8 churches, and it's very difficult. And that's brought about by 2 things. One, the main thing was the collapse of the fishery, as you're all aware, in 1993. And if you're aware, the population of Newfoundland went from about 580,000 down to about 510,000 when the collapse of the fishery. A lot of them went to Alberta and some went otherwise. Many of the areas now, they've lost everything. In the rural areas, they'll say, well, we lost the school, we lost the store, we lost the gas station. Are you going to take our church from us too, Father? You try to say, no, we're going to try to keep it going as long as there's a faith community here. And as long as you do your part, we'll try to do what we can to help you. Many of the churches and halls were built by the people themselves. They will tell you stories of how their forefathers went into the woods and cut the wood and lugged it out on their backs and sawed it up, and that's a part of the history. And they hate to lose that because there's been such sacrifices made, those who went before them, that they want to maintain that. When we lost the Catholic schools, we lost our way of passing the faith on to people from that venue. And I would say our rate of practice has gone down a lot because of the loss of Catholic schools. And also the question is, how much can we ask the priest to do? They lose this bit of the sense of community when he has 8 churches and he just pops in for Mass and goes. So the challenges are to maintain these communities. As long as the people are willing to do their part to maintain them, we'll try to do what we can. That's one of the biggest challenges that we have right now. The government is going through the same kind of process that we are. How do we maintain our rural communities with the roads and the infrastructure? The cost of our healthcare system takes 40% of our budget. That's the challenge and it's a challenge for the church too. It's a challenge for the government, it's a challenge for everyone. How can we maintain services in the rural areas? I would ask, that you hold the people of rural Newfoundland in your heart, because they're going through very difficult times. And it's going to be a question of how much longer many of the rural communities will be in existence. It's being debated now in different levels of what the future will be for them. Catholic Missions in Canada is not only keeping the Catholic faith alive in these communities, but is giving hope to these people that their church will always be there for them.